Welcome to the November 3rd meeting of the Berlin Conservation Commission in accordance with Governor Baker's March 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law due to the outbreak of COVID-19. This meeting will be held remotely via the Zoom platform. All participants should be aware that anything you say, share, or show on camera during this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to the Town of Berlin YouTube channel. This virtual location was listed on the agenda along with all necessary links for public attendance. The audience members who wish to participate should use the Zoom's raise hand function. You will be called on by the chair when appropriate. When recognized, callers should clearly state their name and address before asking a question or making a comment. Please remember to mute your microphone when not speaking and speak clearly to ensure accurate minutes are recorded. Each vote taken during this meeting will be conducted via roll call vote. I will now confirm that all members of the Conservation Commission are present and can hear me before opening the meeting. Walter Bickford.
Here.
Louise Jonda.
Here.
Robin Berry.
Here.
AJ Moses.
Here.
Holly Kennedy DeGrudela.
Here.
And Carolyn here. All right, let's mute Walter.
Oh, AJ.
I now call the meeting to order at 7:07. And AJ did make it. I'm glad to see that. So first I would like to introduce Maddie. Maddie will be our very part-time conservation agent. Maddie, why don't you unmute?
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
So you can see everybody's names and everybody's faces, so that's good. Excellent. So Maddie and I met at the town offices yesterday, and I kind of showed her where all our stuff is, and we talked about some different things that we'd like to have her work on, and I kind of brought her up to speed a little bit on the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight, so she wouldn't be totally lost. So Maddie, feel free to ask any questions for clarification as we go along.
Will do.
And I guess I should probably pull up the agenda as well, huh? All right. So first, I will take a motion to approve the minutes from our October, 6th meeting?
Yes.
So move.
Second.
And, oh, there you go, Robin.
I unmuted quickly.
Robin, you seconded?
Yeah, I seconded.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, Walter.
Aye.
Louise.
Yes.
Aye.
Robin.
Aye.
Holly.
Hi.
AJ.
Aye.
Carolyn. Aye. All right. Passes unanimously. Next, we move to the treasurer's report. Got anything, Robin?
Yeah, so we haven't been getting the reports from the town accountant, so this is just basically what I have. So I figured I don't have this validated against anything, but I'll just tell you what I have. So as of September 30th, the wetlands account had $12,262.97.
What was that date?
September 30th. Yeah, September 30th.
Okay.
Can you repeat the number, please? I missed it.
Sure. It was $12,262 and 97 cents.
Thank you.
And then the open space account has $236,881.59.
We should be seeing the mall money again.
Ooh,
I think it usually comes in November, you know, when it
Does
comes
it?
on time. Yeah,
yeah, let's hope it's on time this year.
right.
We have what, 3 more years of it? 2 more?
I think 4 more.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. What was the
All
annual,
right. Did you say the budget? Is that what you asked,
the
Louise?
annual budget? Yes.
Yeah, so the budget is $1,566 even. But we do have about $32 of reimbursements in the box for everybody to sign, so that's for postage. But I did not include that because it hasn't posted yet. We haven't submitted that.
Try as we might.
Right.
Yeah, so you sent, so Robin sent out the email earlier today. I don't know, Walter, I know you had a question. There are 2 things in the box, the mailbox at the town offices that need to be signed. So
Okay.
that Louise and I can get our reimbursements.
And I think it's only the front page, right? Carolyn, it was only the cover sheet. I think the back page was just you and I signing.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, so it should just be the front page, and there's like no sign lines, so I kind of drew them in, so it's a little bit janky, but they told us to get a majority signature, so.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the things we're gonna vote on tonight and talk about. Okay, so
I-
bills
I
and
can't-
form,
I can't go up there until after Monday because of the doctor's orders, so I hope there are 5 signatures among the rest of you.
Well, I can
Um,
sign one of them, but I can't sign the one for myself.
right,
I
and
think
I
as long
think,
as Walter and Holly can sign, we should be all right.
Yeah, I'll sign tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Okay.
I can go tomorrow, sometime tomorrow and sign.
and I've already
Okay.
signed everything, so Walter, if you can get
Yeah.
up there and sign tomorrow as well, that would be great.
Yeah, so Louise, yeah, you just need to sign that one, so that'd be great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
AJ, are you totally housebound?
Yeah, and one of the medications I'm taking for this pneumonia is my eyesight is all messed up. I can't drive, but I'm not going anywhere in the community.
Okay. I wonder why.
It's one
All
of
right.
those gifts that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, right.
You shouldn't be laughing though.
I know, it's true. Okay, so bills and forms is the reimbursement for postage, so we talked about that. Emails, I actually have a couple more things than what is on here, nothing earth shattering, but so Dan Stimson had emailed me maybe even while I was away, that they have started working on the bridge, the one bridge that we did approve over at 40 Caves. I think they were going to be doing the work last week. So, but he hasn't emailed me saying that it's finished. And more importantly, he has not emailed reimbursement. So I think we'll be able to take that out of the wetlands fund. We should try.
Which
Be
one
a
is this
bit of a
for,
stretch.
Carolyn?
The bridge. You remember SVT wanted to build 2 bridges over at 40
Oh, yeah.
Caves.
Yep.
One we approved the location of, the other we're going to look at after the vegetation dies back.
Mm.
To see if we can come up with a better location. So there's that. Another piece of mail that we got. So DCR sent all of these papers, all of these pages to the Bonazzoli family about the dam at Whaler Pond. They have now fined them, levied a fine, and want them to do something about it. I guess there's a whole bunch of sinkholes all around the dam. There's a whole bunch of pictures of the sinkholes, and it looks pretty structurally unsound. They want them to breach it to bring the pond down to a level that if the dam does go, it won't cause any destruction downstream.
Okay. I would working with the Bonazzolis closely here for the past month. I brought it up again. That situation is just needs to be looked at. What got me involved is that there was a grant round that could be issued to a partnership between a government or a nonprofit entity and an owner to breach a dam and fix it. Well, didn't I call on the day that the grants eclipsed? They no longer are available. So the second thing is, I told her to get her lawyer, who drew up a great plan on the fact that the dam is not high hazard, and I totally agree. And I said, send it, to DCR, and I would be willing to witness, to go to and argue it. So the strategy now would be to get them to downgrade the hazard of the dam, and they really should. As a person and not representing the Conservation Commission, I would back that up. And then next year, the next round that comes around, go for a grant and just breach it. I mean, the dam, it leaks. It doesn't hold water now. It's got 2 spillways that are open. And if there was no dam there at all, the road would act as a dam, because the 2 bridges do not take care of a 50-year flood. And I've seen the stretch of road between the 2 bridges inundated, and at one time at least 2 feet deep, roaring over the dam. So it's really
Recently?
No, I've got photographs of one time, but it's years ago. I
Right.
can remember as a boy walking down that, barefoot from one bridge to the other, and it was just a massive flood. And then in '79, there was a flood where the road was closed because it was inundated. But anyway, just so you know, I've got to call her, as a matter of fact, Robin Bonazzoli, and let her know that, tell her lawyer has got to get a hold of DCR as quickly as possible. I tried calling DCR a couple times, left messages, and they never got back to me, which isn't right. The first time I left a message was at least a month ago, and they never got back.
So this
Anyway,
was,
just for your information.
yeah, no, absolutely. This was mailed to her brother.
Right.
In Bolton. She's not in Bolton anymore, right?
Yeah, she's worrying about losing her house over this thing. He hasn't been totally responsible. Hard to get away with. He disappeared, went down the Cape. They've been trouble reaching him. He doesn't answer phones, and poor Robin is, saddled with this mess.
Right.
I think she now has somehow taken control of it. But my strategy is going to be, and I guess I would ask you to endorse it, to be able to say the Conservation Commission really would like, looking at the plan that her lawyer drew up, and I could send it to you. We really think there needs to be a second look, a discussion, and a reclassification of the hazard of that dam. It is not a high hazard dam by any means.
Right. How much water is it even holding back? That's not very deep back there anymore,
that's
right?
true. Right. it's like a stream. When I was a kid, it was always, we had boats in there. We'd go pickerel fishing and everything else, hornpout fishing. And now it's so silted in over the past 50 years that it really isn't a pond. It runs right. The culverts that are there now take care of anything that has come down that brook in a long time.
Right. I mean, so the pictures do show it pond-like. Let's
Show
see
it
if
what?
I can- So can you see those pictures?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that looks pond-esque, but that could be
Yeah,
6 inches deep.
But
Yeah.
I noticed if there are 3 or 4 dry days in a row, it's almost all exposed vegetation and mud. The water, I don't think it. Even with this wet summer, I don't think it ever got very deep at all.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
And a lot of that may be percolating away. Maybe that's why it empties so quickly. But it never stays a pond for more than a few days of dry weather, and then it's just the trickle of water going through.
Right. So
Exactly.
the date of this is March 17th. So, I mean, that shows some pretty fast moving water, but
Yeah, but
if it
that's
was
just
after a rain or a snow melt or
right.
whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's probably the entire North Brook going through there.
Right.
See that picture you showed me? I mean, that's going down behind my house. That's all in North Brook. So the culvert, that spillway could take care of several times more water than that. Plus, then the other spillway, the other dam down the other bridge would kick in and it would overflow that.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
as a way to help postpone it, I think we should say that we want to help get that thing solved, and then she would turn it over to the town for conservation, and it would be good waterfowl, and I'd get down there and clean that up in a minute. It's we really should own that,
So there is, I'm just trying to see what the timeline on the appeal process is.
I mean, does it have an appeal on that?
Right, because if this went to the brother and he's not communicating with her, does she even know that this has been?
Oh, yeah,
sent?
she knows it.
Oh, okay. All right. So she must have a copy and she can figure out the appeals.
I guess what I would ask is that, would it be all right if I represented the commission and just inquire and look into a little bit further based on the engineering study? She had an excellent engineer, hydrologist, study that, wrote up a great report. I should email it to you, as a matter of fact. It's a better report than the one you've got in your hand. And she doesn't feel that it doesn't justify high hazard. So based on that, we should ask the DCR to reconsider it, and then because, I mean, I'm assuming you all would want that land if it was given to us.
Sure.
There's land up that goes all the way to Crosby Road. It would be a greenway connecting that down, and we own the land on the other side of the street, or it's got a CR on it anyway. So that would be a good greenway down through there,
My only question, and I believe I've asked this before, and I believe I remember the answer. That parcel is not the parcel that has the dynamite stored on it, correct?
No, that in
That's the
fact,
next
parcel,
one.
she doesn't want to give that. That's the only thing that she might be able to sell and recoup some funds. She's put a lot of money into these studies and done all this work. She does massage therapy, so she's not wealthy, and it's costing her a lot of money. So she would like to have that.
Yeah, I don't want the dynamite.
So anyway, I won't, make any decisions and say, yeah, we voted this, unless I come to you people again for it. But I just like to be
Promise.
able
But
to-
if we make a motion to have Walter inquire into the issue. Okay, I'll make a motion to have Walter inquire into the issues on ways the town, conservation can work with the family to correct the problem.
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
Second.
That was
Who was
Holly.
that?
That was
Oh.
Holly. Yep. Does anybody else want to add anything to that before we vote? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. Holly,
Aye.
AJ,
I,
Robin,
Aye.
Louise,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. All right. No promises.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not gonna put us under any obligations, just I'll come back with a more thorough and detailed response. A coverage
would
of
be-
that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there's that, and all right, so Maplewood, everybody received the email that I sent with the most recent update
Mhm.
from earlier in the week. I believe it was Monday that they went out and did the last inspection.
I looked at it last week and it looked pretty good to me. I walked around the whole site.
Okay, so you did go up there.
Yep. Yep.
Good. Excellent. So does anybody have anything else that they want to say about Maplewood? Dave Westerling. Hey, Dave.
Unmute.
There you go.
Yeah, in that update on Maplewood, there was a reference to some sort of a plan, remediation plan or something that the author referred to as sort of their own protocols. And there were some pipes and so forth. Is there that plan? Have you seen that plan?
We have seen that plan. They actually submitted it to DEP so that DEP would allow them to resume importing soil. So they had to have a plan in place and present that to DEP.
Okay, was it, is it public information or is it sort of secret?
Yeah, I don't know that it's secret. I don't know that it's public. Any thoughts? Anybody else, Walter?
No, well, nothing's secret, but I don't know how distributed it was. But if Dave, if you're looking to get a copy of it and you haven't seen it, we can certainly arrange that.
Right.
Okay, I just interested, there were
We
a lot of
discussed it at
pipes.
one of our meetings, correct?
Say that again, Louise.
Didn't we discuss that plan at one of our meetings?
I would imagine.
Which
We've-
would make it public information.
We
There you
did.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a copy of
Okay.
it. There were a lot of pipes and that were laying on the surface and so forth, and maybe they're not installed yet or something, but I would be interested in seeing it.
Yeah, I know that they've got a lot of pipes connecting one retention basin to another,
Yeah,
for sure.
so we are starting to see a scar from our house. So the view, when we moved to Berlin, we thought we would just see mountainsides or, you know, forests. But now there's a scar showing up on our view of Mount Pisgah anyway. So just be aware of that, that there must be cutting trees, quite a few trees, because the tree line now has a notch in it. And I hope they don't totally denude the area, but in any case, it's visible. So,
Yeah, Dave, just so, I mean, virtually, they have, the plan calls for virtually eliminating all the trees on that area that they're filling in, and that's what you're seeing. There might be a few trees along the downhill side of the property, but the other stuff is all 3-inch diameter stuff that's grown up in the past 10 or 15 years from when it was stripped and chipped all up. That's grown up, so blocks something, but now they're removing all that and continue to fill in. So that will be, they're not cutting any timber, let me put it that way. I'm not saying I support it, but that's what's going on, and they have a right to do it. That's what the plan calls for.
Yeah, there was this beautiful stand of small birch trees that when I was up there, it actually looked like they were burying them.
I know
Not
it.
that they were
I don't
cutting
know.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't particularly like that, but I don't know whether we
Right.
can do something about it or not. You know, it's pretty flagrant. They buried a lot of it.
right.
yeah,
Well,
I think
they're
They don't bury it.
unfortunately they're their trees and they get to do what they
Yeah,
want with them.
I think what you said about the south, or the boundary trees, that's the area I think that these are mature trees that they're cutting.
Well, Dave, you can walk up. I mean, that's conservation land. Just on the downhill side of their property is conservation land, plus an
Yeah.
easement going all the way in along there. You could walk in through there and see it, but they're not cutting. Well, I mean, I don't believe they're cutting any mature trees there because there's no mature trees on the site. It's all little 15-year-old growth, early growth.
Okay, if I could, I'll stay on conservation land and walk up there and take a look, but
Okay.
in any case, it changed the view of Mount Pisgah.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
So
that's true.
It's
there's
changed.
a lot of views in Berlin being changed, unfortunately. But,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
But if you could either put a copy in the box in the town hall or drop it off at the house, that would be fine.
I think I only have it digitally, so I'll have to email it to you.
Okay,
Right.
you can email it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fine.
And
Madam Chairman, I
between,
got a question.
go ahead.
Yeah, so how can I go about getting a nice picture of myself like Dave has and using that instead of looking on there? He's probably home in his pajamas, unshaven. He's got that nice, handsome picture that he shows. I haven't seen that trick before.
Right. Well, Robin has one. Maybe Robin can give you a little Zoom lesson
Oh,
later.
okay. Okay, good. You look good, Dave, anyway.
Oh, thank you. I feel good.
Dave, I'm fairly certain I have your email. If not in the Conservation Commission email, I have your email address in my personal email. So
Okay,
I
All right.
we'll get that report to you.
that'll be fine. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anything else? Mr. Westerling?
No.
All right. See you at town meeting.
Yeah, Monday night.
All right. I'm going to put you back in the audience.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. But Maplewood's looking good. And Walter, did you see if they if they have brought any soils in?
Yeah, they're trucking in quite a bit.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Going in.
yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
don't know on a daily basis. I know they're pretty steady trucking in there. I don't watch it, if I happen to see.
Sure, no, but you saw evidence of new.
Oh, yeah, they're trucked
Yeah.
a lot in.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that control of the site is back. That's
I
all
will
can
say, in what Dave's talking about, I mean, I think that burying those trees is rather a Slavic operation, and I would never have done anything like that, but I don't know if we can do anything about it. I feel like if I knew there was a law or a regulation, I'd make a call and have it done, but they're basically you know, making pasture. And they can never put a leach field, a house out there. Well, they don't have the frontage anyway, so it's just going to be wild land.
Right, well, what they're doing, they're creating a facility so that they can host horse shows.
Right, right.
So there'll be a parking area in the upper.
Yeah.
There's kind of, you know how it's kind of tiered,
Yeah.
kind of plateaued. I believe, if I remember correctly from the plan that I saw, the upper part to the north will be parking, and then the rest will be riding facilities so they can host shows.
Yeah.
You know, it seems to me with burying that amount of biomass would just open it up for settling over and over. You'd always be trying to level that off, because that stuff is just going to rot and deteriorate. And I think I back Walter. That's kind of a slovenly way to do that. Burying all that biomass is just a setup for.
Yep.
Yep. You know, we'll just have to keep an eye on the site and make sure that as it settles over time, it doesn't start to erode downhill again. So, all right, moving on. Highland Ridge, no news. Pat's last report. Did I send that to anybody? Everybody? I feel like
Yeah, you sent it. I read it.
I thought
You're
so.
talking.
Yeah, they cleaned out a bunch of the settling basins, and it's looking good.
And what report was that? From Maplewood?
For Highland Ridge. And that was, Pat's last report was October 18th.
Okay, I don't think I saw that.
All right, I'll forward it right now if I'm looking at it, just in case. Oh, Walter, you saw it because it gets emailed to you also.
Yep, that's all right.
Yeah.
You know, frankly, with Pat overseeing it, I don't worry too much about it.
No.
The best oversight. I don't. There's nothing I could add that he wouldn't do. He's pretty tough and very thorough, and he does a great job. I just glanced through it, frankly.
Yep, same. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think. All right, that's that for everybody. No news on 100 River Road, no news on 36 Dudley. Unless, Walter, you've heard anything on either.
Nothing. Nope.
Okay.
And I don't think we will, as long as you don't have a bylaw to be able to force their hand, you know.
I agree. I agree. All right, no appointments. We've already welcomed Maddie. Okay, the next thing is, does everybody remember a couple of years ago? No, well, a year ago, a little over a year ago, we authorized John to be able to be a single signer on small dollar amount transactions. I think up to $400.
Right.
So
Somewhere
apparently
around August of 2020.
You
Okay.
found it, Louise? I could not find it.
I can just find that in August, I believe, one of the meetings in August, that John reported that he had authorized a payment.
Well, that's what I saw too, but I could have sworn we had in the minutes. Like we talked, I know we talked about it at a meeting.
Right, I couldn't find
the
it.
minutes. Okay, all right. So I thought it was just me, but yeah, I found the same thing, Louise. It was like in June, we were still approving them by vote. And then by August, John was reporting them. So it happened somewhere last summer.
Right.
So, you know, because we're not all sitting in the same room at a meeting to sign reimbursements and everything, it's becoming difficult, you know, it's just easier. So, but apparently we did not vote for the chair to be able to do this. We voted for John as chair to be able to do this. So in order for me to be able to do this, we need to now vote again.
I move that we have Carolyn, the chairperson, sign small invoices, $400 and less.
I
$500.
second.
But can
And
we
it-
make the motion to be the chair and not the person's name?
Nope.
There you go.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
right, so yeah,
Oh.
so that's what, because we submitted my postage reimbursement to June, and she clarified that every time we change the chair, we're gonna have to take this vote if we want to
Okay.
continue to do it, which I actually don't mind. I think it adds
Mhm.
another level of protection. You know, if we get Walter in there as chair and he goes spending all kinds of money.
Thank you for that clarification. I just didn't know.
Yep,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Is there an
Uh,
actual state, not a
Yep,
mandate,
Yep,
but
so, if I didn't forward this email, also let me know, but it's, Title 8, Chapter 41, Section 41.
you're going to, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Actually, so
look up the email.
Massachusetts General Law, Part 1, Title 8, Chapter 41, Section 41.
Okay. So who seconded?
I,
I did. Robin.
Robin, okay.
any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. Walter,
Yes.
Louise,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
and I don't believe I get to vote, but motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you, guys. That will make things easier. So the other new thing, Robin, you got the email that Ashley sent. I think I forwarded you the email that Ashley sent me about a multi-use trail from Northborough.
I know we talked about it, but I don't know. I don't remember seeing an email.
All right.
I mean, I can check.
Okay.
Would it come
Um,
from you or conservation?
Me, I think.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know we talked about it, but
yeah. So for those of you who don't remember working with Ashley, Ashley Davies was our contact at Sudbury Valley Trustees. She worked with us on quite a few conservation restrictions, and she left SVT to go work for the state for their APR program. But she lives in Northborough and is active in Northborough conservation issues. So there is a man in Westborough who is looking at creating a multi-use trail basically along the aqueduct. And wanted to know if she knew, how we would feel about it. So she called me last week. Does anybody have any reason why we would not be interested in pursuing this?
so my
Define
understanding.
Go ahead, Robin.
I was just gonna say, like, my understanding of this is that with the aqueducts, Berlin is like already in a great position to just like throw down stone dust and be done. Like, we have no issues with, excuse me, any access or right of way or anything like that. So our portion of that line would be very easy to get done. Once, aside from like dealing with the MWRA and that kind of stuff, but it's not a, we don't have any gaps in the line or anything like that we have to deal with. And it's already used for, I bike there, I walk there. It's already used by a lot of people. So it's not like it's, something that's not already being used for recreation. It's just grass right now, and the MWRA, I'm assuming it's them, they mow it on a semi-regular basis.
Right.
I mean, the thing I'm concerned about, what does define multi-use? I mean, I don't want any motorized vehicles, you know, if it becomes even, you know, my wife, we walk it probably a couple times a week and find it just fine the way it is. I don't know, what has he got in mind? I don't like to see too much development or manipulation of something that's just fine and natural to begin with.
I think they were just looking to do stone dust, right, Carolyn?
I believe so. I'm looking at
Which
the
would be
email
nice.
now. Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
the issue with the grass is that it gets grown up, and then there's ticks everywhere. The ticks are awful there right now. So it would be nice to have stone dust, just like we have up at the dam. It would make it a little less of a
Yeah, it
tick
would be,
haven.
yeah.
And
Right.
That'd be fun, yeah.
The ticks
Right,
and
and
the poison ivy along there is rampant.
I'm sure. Poison ivy everywhere.
But again, I'd be very, very specific if we agree with it, that we want absolutely zero motorized vehicles on it.
Correct. And I agree. I do not believe that is what they're talking when they say multi-use. I think they're talking more, you know, pedestrian and bikes and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff.
It's probably
but
gonna
I
use the
agree,
same way it's used
Walter.
now.
Yeah, I agree that we should make sure to clarify our position on that.
I think Louise has something to say.
Yes. Okay, is this would be on the aqueduct, the present, right?
Correct.
So this was brought up a few years ago, I
Mhm.
believe by Northborough. But it was presented that the town of Berlin, if they accepted this, the town of Berlin would have to maintain it.
Correct. So I did say that to Ashley, that would be our biggest concern. And so this is from someone on the North Road Trails Committee. His name is Bob. It's not signed any other way. As far as I know, MWRA plans to continue to mow the aqueduct even once it's open for pedestrians. I don't think Berlin will have to do much, if any, maintenance. But I do know that was one thing that came up in the past.
Okay.
So, all right, well, we'll keep an eye on it. I guess they've got several hurdles they have to pass in Northborough.
Yeah, I think they have a gap over near, can't think of the name of that road, but Bear something Road, or
Barefoot
like when
Road.
you get to, what is it, Walter?
Barefoot Road.
Yeah, that one. So when you walk down there past 290, there's the railroad track. You cross over the track, and then it kind of dead ends at like an office building or something. And so I think you have to go. So they've got some work to do there, but you know. So I don't know how far along they've come on that. But.
Right. I think they have a couple street crossings they have to deal with as well.
It also,
yeah, but for Berlin's purposes, it's very easy to.
Right.
To
Doesn't
do.
it dead end at West Street at Five Corners?
Yep.
It ends
Yes.
at Derby Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, just before that, it I don't know, it just kind of disappears into a cliff. I bicycled, I couldn't get up there. Also at Whitney, I think is the street.
Yeah.
You have to leave the path.
Oh yeah.
Cross the street and then go through another gate and go back down.
Yeah,
There's
or go
no
down to the railroad
underpass
tracks.
under
Yeah.
the,
Right.
yeah.
And I
Unless you follow
believe,
railroad track.
right, isn't that actually in Northborough at that point?
The Whitney Street.
Is
Yeah.
You can walk under that bridge very easily. The trail goes right down underneath and comes up on the other side.
Yeah, I usually go down that way too. But I mean, that I don't think is a huge hurdle. I mean, we could even either do a crossing at the street level, or like Walter said, go down and under the tracks.
Yeah, you have to leave the aqueduct, go over to the tracks, and go under the overpass that the tracks use, and then go back to the aqueduct. And I don't know that there's a clear trail through there.
Right, but that would probably be fairly easy to
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big hurdle.
All right, so
Oh, I have
just,
another question, okay, because
Yes.
I see a lot of people parking at the end of West Street, right there at the railroad tracks,
yep,
and taking dogs and walking them along the aqueduct.
I'm
Is
one
there
of
gonna
them.
be any restriction on them having to be leashed? Is there gonna be any discussion about dogs?
I
Because
think
that,
we have, as far as I know, we still have no leash law in Berlin.
Right, we don't have a leash law in
but
Berlin.
there is well, there was a leash law when people were walking their dogs through the field off of Linden Street. Just down the street from where I live, the dogs had to be leashed when they were walking through that field to get into. the
correct,
field.
but that wasn't
that
a
private
leash law,
property?
that was a condition of the easement.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And
I
I
don't think the
believe,
town has.
What about a
Right.
gate pond? A dog's leash there?
technically,
supposed
they're
to be now.
supposed to be,
There is a sign that says they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Right. So there could be a leash law on the aqueduct also.
it wouldn't be a law, it would be a rule.
Right, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and once we get closer to all of that, we can hammer out those kind of details.
Mhm.
Could we respond and say, yeah, we approve it strictly for foot traffic and bicycle?
How about non-motorized vehicles?
Yeah,
What's that?
Just say non-motorized vehicles. So it's,
Right.
yeah,
I
I think that would be better.
Because
Because I
some
don't- yeah,
bicycles are now
don't think-
motorized.
I'm sorry?
right.
Well,
Some of the bicycles are now motorized.
I was just gonna say that I'm seeing more and more, because I mountain bike a lot, but sometimes I ride on a trail that is not a mountain bike trail, and I see more and
Oh, yeah,
more
that's
of these
a
electric
good
bikes.
point.
Yeah,
And
the power assist.
and how is that not a motorized vehicle? For
Right.
goodness sake, especially around pedestrians.
some places don't allow them on trails.
So we
All
would
right.
At
have
the same
to,
time, there's a lot of older people that really like them. So if we prohibit them, then you're limiting a lot of people from using the trail.
right,
It's nice to get people outside one way or another, but
Right.
anyway.
How about no gas powered, because the motors on those are electric, right? On the
Right.
bicycles.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I will do is respond and say that, in theory, we are in support. We would need, when the time comes, we would want to talk about details.
I think Ashley would be right along with our philosophy anyway. She's the one that's kind of approached you about it.
Yeah,
She would agree with us.
Does that have to be put into a motion just to make it? No.
no, because we're not approving anything. We're just,
Mhm.
I have an application that I use for mountain biking, and it lists that trail, including the part that goes through Berlin. And it lists it for mountain bike, trail run, hike, snowshoe, and Nordic ski. And
Oh.
although it's listed as a Northborough trail, even the part through Berlin is included as part of that trail. So those are the restrictions that are on it now from somewhere.
right.
Oh, those are
The
good.
horses still go on there.
I was
People
gonna
ride
say
it.
I know up at the dam, people snowmobile whether they're supposed to or not. There's always snowmobile tracks. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what kind
They're
of
not
enforcement-
supposed to.
Yeah, but I don't know
Right,
how
because
well it's
that's
enforced.
DCR land.
Mm.
All right,
We beat that to death.
we certainly did.
No, it'd be a good discussion.
Okay, so next, old business continued. Speaking of motorized vehicles, ATV uses of 40 Caves trails. Got anything for me, Walter?
Well, one of the police officers had off Lancaster Road, which you know is the, I don't know, was north or east side of the 40 Cave area. Got a couple of ATVers 2 weeks ago, and one of them was road registered, but anyway, the other one wasn't. So he ticketed them, and he made the one that was registered go get a truck and come back and take the other one, bring it back off them, and warned them very severely not to be on there again, and we weren't going to put up with it. I was wondering if Dan, while over there working on the bridge, has seen any signs of it. I think he would have told us if he did.
I've seen signs of it off of Allen Road as well. And you could see
Yes.
it went up off the trail. It looked like it went right up to a house. I mean, if you can follow spoor, you can see the tracks. And then it comes to a no trespassing sign. And it's only a quarter mile in from Allen Road. It's very near.
It's the last house, right?
I think that's where it came from, yeah.
Yeah.
When I went there a couple of weeks ago to look, there were fresh leaves, and I couldn't detect tracks at all. You know, everything was covered up, so I couldn't see that. But I've been planning to go over now that things are opening up.
Right.
I was in there with Gracie about a month ago when we saw it. I could put a camera in there too, if you think it's helpful. I'll throw a camera up out there.
Oh, by the way, in addition to that, I took our newest police officer, Molly, I forget her last name, and we drove up there in the cruiser and parked at the parking space, and she and I walked the trail all the way around to where you're talking about, AJ, where that trail goes up to the house, looked at it, and she said she'd keep an eye on it. So I haven't talked to her about it since. That was early last week.
Okay, so but you said the environmental police ticketed some people like 2 weeks ago?
No, it was our local police.
Oh, okay.
Our local police officers.
Right. You know, before that land was purchased by SVT, on the Clinton side, it was private property. And there were a lot of people that were using it and had permission of the former owners to use it for ATVs. So it could be that they're still continuing to use it and coming into Berlin.
I'm sure it's well, we've always done it kind of thing.
Right.
But we have put up no motorized vehicles signs. We've put up all kinds of warnings. We've talked to some people over there several times. So everybody knows that they're not supposed to be doing it anymore. But they do.
But it's still open to bicycling, right?
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I biked back in there quite a lot, all the way up to a street in Clinton. And it's a delightful for walking in. But I wouldn't
Beautiful in there.
I wouldn't want to meet an ATV. I don't need that.
Right. Yeah, and you know, I mean, we even had an incident over at Brewer Brook last year, the year before, where a mountain biker came around a corner fast, and there were some people on horseback there, and they frightened the horses, and a woman got thrown, and we wound up like cracking a few ribs or something. I mean, it was so, and that was a mountain bike. Can you imagine if that was an ATV? So,
I'm so old I don't do anything fast on a mountain bike anymore.
well, good that you get out there. Okay, no update on the Linden Street parking lot. And anybody know how the progress of hiring a highway superintendent?
Yeah, they put Fred in temporarily, which is ridiculous. They should have just hired him and given him a 6-month try, but he's in for 6 months. But I'm not going to approach them now. They are so busy, and the last couple of superintendents did not mind the store that well, and in roads, it's got some serious road problems and bridge problems and dead trees, and so they're really out straight. So
Yeah, I was just wondering how that was progressing, if at all.
I think they put out they posted the job.
Well, they've given it to Fred, Louise. Fred is the
As
superintendent.
an interim, but I think they posted it for as full time.
Okay.
And he would be free to apply to be to be the permanent.
Right. Okay, and so I have submitted the CPA application for for more money for the Laura property to capital planning for sure, because that deadline was November 1st. I have the CPA committee application filled out, but I don't think I've actually emailed it yet. I wanted to go over it one more time for a Springtown meeting. Oh, that's why I was waiting. I was waiting until after Monday night, after this town meeting, because if we don't get the money that we've requested this time, then I need to change the wording on the application for the next time. That's why I haven't submitted that yet.
Do we have a date for the Springtown meeting yet?
No, it's usually, traditionally, it's like the first or second Monday in May. It's usually around the 3rd is the date that comes to mind. Past couple of years, it's been delayed because of COVID, because we've held them outside. So I think it's been in June the past 2 years. Because it has to be done before the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. So.
Yeah. Carolyn, would you please slowly go through what is the funding on Laura? We have the 200 and something 36 in the open space fund. And
Yep.
what are we going for at this special town meeting?
So we're going for 490,000 at this town meeting.
490, okay.
And
that-
490 again in the spring,
Spring.
bringing it up to 980 total that we will be asking for in CPA funds.
980, so 1,180, $1,200. So we will have, yeah, so with the 236, that'll give us a 1.2 million.
Right. Yep. And, Krista has said that Sudbury Valley Trustees is willing to do some fundraising on our behalf, because there will be, of course, lawyer fees involved with all of this.
Right.
So, ultimately it will end up costing a little bit more than that, and we always have the fallback of selling a lot or two if we fall short.
Now, tell me, are we eligible for the oh, for heaven's sakes, the steep state reimbursement? We get more than 50% reimbursement on that.
Right. So yes, we will also
We
yeah.
get
So we're gonna
700,000 back.
Right. We're gonna apply for an MVP grant and a land grant.
The land grant is what we usually get, right? That's the land. And so that usually, because we have gone to 3%, aren't we eligible for more than 50% reimbursement on something like that?
I don't know that the two are tied.
Okay.
Right. I don't know that our CPA status one way or another has anything to do with the land grant. The MVP,
okay.
Right. The MVP grants are municipal vulnerability program. And so that's about climate change. And MVP grants, open space qualifies for MVP grants. And
Okay.
what Ashley had told me before, and Krista has now said also, is that MVP grants are actually paying more than land grants.
Mhm.
So we will apply for both. MVP grants get awarded before land grants. So if we don't get the MVP grant, we'll still be, have the
Okay.
application in for the land grant.
Okay.
If we
But the
do
bottom
get,
line is, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
if we do get the MVP grant, we'll pull the land grant application. So the bottom line is we have two very good opportunities for reimbursement of
Over
60
50%.
over 50% of the money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
Um,
great.
yeah. So
So we
I,
end up with 6 right back in our kitty, and then we start looking, see what's up and grab something before a
right.
local developer gets it.
So if we use CPA funds for that, and then we get reimbursed, do we have to put the money back to CPA funds for the town to use, or can that go in our?
I don't know exactly, but if it went back into CPA, I believe it would go back into CPA for conservation.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely clear on how that works. But either way, any money we get back would be earmarked for conservation, not into a general fund or anything.
Right, right.
Um,
So that's good, all right.
Yep.
That's
So
the first time
it's,
you clarified.
we're baby stepping our way through this. Krista is staying in touch with the Laura's. And we're getting there.
So I just have a question about when we vote on Monday, are they going to know that we're going to ask again in the spring for more money? Or are we just voting? Are they just knowing about what's happening the first round?
So technically they will not know unless we tell them. But in town meeting, coffee talk was last week. And I went to talk about, because it was about the warrant items. And I did give the heads up that we would be asking again in the spring for the rest of it. Just because I think that is fair to do. But
Yeah,
I
we should do that
also-
at town meeting too, though.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we don't want people to, think that we're pulling a fast one.
Right, well, exactly.
Yeah, I mean-
And, I also, this is our first round of giving out CPA money. And I already at the Community Preservation Act Committee, among those members, got the hairy eyeball of, oh, sure, here goes conservation asking for all the money, and so I will address that as well. That it's really, we've been working on this for several years, and it's just the timing of it. We would have been asking the town for it if CPA funds weren't available. So,
It's not divisive. I mean, you're going to tell them we're going to come back again, but the way I look at it, the town voted for the CPA at 3%. What are we, only 1 or 2 towns that did the 3%? There's only 2
in the
towns.
past, like 5 years, yeah, there's only a handful of towns that have the 3%.
I think I heard, I read someplace, nevertheless, because of that, the state looks more favorably on reimbursement to us. But the town, when they voted to give that money, they said, we're voting this to fund conservation, history, housing, or whatever that is. And the rest of it goes into it also, although we will vote on how it's allocated, but it's going to be allocated to those 4 uses. They can't take it and spend it on the police department anyway. So the money's there, and it's
Correct.
not, well, it is and it isn't taxes. It isn't the standard tax. It's a surcharge on it. So it isn't, I'm not worried about it. And by the way, I disagree with you on I wouldn't go saying that, we're getting the largest percentage of it or anything like that. I don't know. It did, when you said it the other night, I thought, no, I wouldn't have said that. I just,
Yeah, but it's, you know, that there is enough people thinking that I just feel it's more transparent to
Yeah,
acknowledge
exactly.
it.
Yep, we're better off
That's
being
all.
transparent.
Yep. Yep. We're not trying to hide what we're doing. We're not trying to hide. We understand, you know, how
Yeah,
it,
I mean,
we understand how it looks.
well, I mean, when you think about like the elevator at the old town hall there, you know, like they kept coming back for more money, and it was just like, well, wait a minute, I thought we just gave you money. I'd rather be upfront and just say, here's the total amount we need. We're going to ask for this now and that later, and that's what we're doing.
agree.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do it.
And, you know, one of the reasons that the amount that we're asking for is the amount is because that's how much money is in CPA. You know, you are allowed, but from the state, you are allowed to spend, authorize at town meeting to spend estimated money. But as the Community Preservation Act Committee has decided that that's not really the route we want to go. We will be spending, it's like $30,000 of estimated funds, which is not that much money. Unfortunately, you know, for the timing of all of this, we will get our state payout next week or in 2 weeks on the 15th. November 15th is when the state pays CPA funds for the year. So, but we know how much we got last year. We know the CPA trust fund has more money in it this year because of the strong real estate market. So we know that we will get at least what we got last year, if not more.
Oh, another clarification then, I didn't understand. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that totally. So when the state, what do they do at the end of the fiscal year? They look at what the town raised and then they, what, match it?
And yeah, there's a whole formula that they use to decide.
Yeah.
There's 3 rounds of payouts. The first round is to everybody. The second round is to people to towns that have adopted either a 2 or a 3% surcharge. And the third round is only for towns that have adopted a 3%
Okay.
surcharge. So
Yep.
we get payouts in all 3 rounds.
Okay, so we should do pretty good. And that's
Yep.
the money that you're looking at to spend at this special town meeting. We've
No.
already been,
Money
Oh,
that
we
we've
haven't even got
already been awarded is what we're spending at this town meeting.
that's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
So the money that is coming in a couple of weeks, we've not spent.
Okay,
Mhm.
Right.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, it is very confusing. It's going to take everybody a couple of rounds. Even, you know, the committee, it's going to take us all a little bit of time. We had to go back to June like 4 different times to say, so how much money do we have? You know, because there's actual funds, estimated funds, funds that the town has collected, town funds that the state has given. But we'll all get the hang of it. But it is as with everything with these kind of things, it's very complex.
Very good.
Yep. Oh, and then the only other thing that's not on the agenda that Walter had, there's a piece of property on South Street, actually says South Road here on the form, that's looking for a certificate
Oh.
of compliance.
Yeah, my God, thank you. Good
You're
for
welcome.
you, Carolyn. Oh.
So Walter went and checked it out the other day. You want to tell us about it, Walter?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, there's no excavation. I don't think they even cut a tree down. What they did is build like a couple of decks out there, nice flat decks low to the ground. It's a nice house, you know, contemporary type of house. You go out back and there's trees going up through it and the decks around a little bit, and it's very nice, and there's nothing disturbed. So, you know, there hadn't even been boulders removed. There was a rock sticking up, and they built the deck around it instead of doing any real earth moving. So it's fine, looks fine to me.
Do you have the
Totally.
address for the place?
Yeah, it's 235 South Street. And the homeowner is John Miller.
Yeah, the whole place looks like they really care about the environment and the looks of the yard, and very nice.
Awesome.
So should I make a motion?
Let's just see, does anybody have any other questions about this? Then yes, Walter, I'll take a motion.
All right, so I would move that we grant a certificate of compliance to John Miller at whatever the street,
235.
235 South Street, for completion of completion of the project that he applied for in the notice of intent dated such and such and whatever.
Right,
the
so
number
it's NOI, a DEP number. Ready, Louise, let me know when you're ready for it.
Okay. 107.
107 0218.
Okay. All right, that's the only information we need is the DEP number, right?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I beat you, Louise, I think.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, all those in favor, Walter,
I
Louise,
Aye.
Robin,
I
AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Carolyn, aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right. I believe that's all I have.
one may I have one more thing?
You may.
All right. I don't know the exact dates going back, but you're all familiar with Ball Hill Road and Kendall Housing's development up there where Skip
right.
Duggan lives. And we gave him permission. He was given permission to put in 12 units up along Ball Hill, and then there's a common drive goes in for 6 more units. And in that common drive, there was initial requirements that only a certain part of it could be paved, certain percentage of it and everything else. And you couldn't have more than a 2-car garage. Well, there might have been 3 units, but anyway, there's a fellow next door to Skip Duggan. They want to put in a, let me see how many square feet. It's huge. I had it right here
I
in
think it was
front
like
of me.
2,500 square feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 2,500 feet or something
Yeah.
like that. And so anyway, and he's looking for support because he's given it to his lawyer, write a letter to whom it may concern. And I'll read what we came up with. I had to ask him the details so I could write this up. But anyway.
Right. I can share my screen also because you
Oh, did you
emailed
have
it
it there?
earlier.
Oh, okay.
Did you email it to conservation or to me?
Okay.
We all got it. I think some people couldn't open it, but I could.
The Berlin Conservation Commission supports the efforts by Clayton and Cheryl Duggan of 59 Ball Hill Road to enforce the existing protective covenant on the 12 properties built by the Kendall Homes on Ball Hill Road. The Berlin Conservation Commission reviewed the covenant as part of its overall review of the ultimate approval of the plans to build the 12 houses. Specifically, the covenant limits the footprint of the driveways in the buildings other than the primary residence of each lot. This covenant, along with the donated conservation land around the development, minimizes impervious surfaces, minimizes water runoff, and preserves wildlife corridors. And I would add in there, and there's no need to put it in a letter, but just remind you that Skip, actually, he got Emily Wolf, and they in turn put a CR on more than half of each of their lots in order to protect open space. So we support Clayton and Cheryl Duggan in their effort to prevent their abutter, Joseph and Alphonse Gambone at 61 Ball Hill Road, from violating the covenant by a proposed new building of 2,250 square feet, which is over 15 times the allowable building size of 150 square feet maximum specified in the protective covenant. And he's very concerned about this. So he's getting letters from other town officials and I think the Board of Appeals so that when it goes to court, and he thinks it's gonna, because these people just want to plow ahead and put in this humongous garage. And he's also worried about, well, they have 2-car garage now under the house, so I don't know if they're going to block that off or what, but you can't have more than 3 doors, three car doors. And they're in the landscaping business, and it's happened other places in Berlin. They end up with commercial equipment parked in this thing, carrying a business out. But anyway, it certainly isn't within the spirit of that place. So that's what I would ask the commission to consider approving. And I'll write this up in a letter on our letterhead to whom it may concern and send it to Skip. So maybe I could get Carolyn will sign it, or I'll sign it on behalf of the Conservation Commission, or I can run around and get all your signatures if you agree.
It's not that I don't agree, but are we opening ourselves up to, getting embroiled in this lawsuit?
Well,
I think there's a concern there.
I
don't know that giving a letter of support does that. I think if we were trying to, because we were involved in the creation of the covenant, and the fact that the covenant was a factor in allowing the project to move forward on the Conservation Commission's part, I don't think that I don't know. I don't think like a lawyer, so I may not be the best person to answer this, but I believe that restating our initial intent
to protect open space.
To protect open space
Right.
is not
the
detrimental.
Right. The whole covenant, when we looked at it, the whole idea was to minimize intrusion as much as possible. If you can minimize the intrusion of 12 units up there, but nevertheless, it was done and minimize the pavement. And so I feel comfortable doing it. But Robin, that's a good question, because I thought that over too. And I've come to the kind of down on the side that I don't see any downside to doing it. And it might help him.
Right. It's also written in each of the deeds of those 12 houses, right?
Yeah.
Pardon me, Louise, I didn't get that.
So the covenant is included, is recorded in the deeds that all of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I feel like it's I don't know. It just seems to me like it'd be one thing to do it as an individual, but as a commission, I don't know if it just seems like it's not in our purview to put out a letter from the commission. I could be wrong about that. It just doesn't, I don't know. It seems to me like it's something that should be done as individuals.
Right. Well, like I said, because we were involved in it at the beginning is what I would think of as a reason to ask it to be upheld.
Yeah.
And just show that we're concerned and having the support, knowing that we were involved with it, and to show them that it does exist and it was there for a reason. So it's kind of, you know.
Could we change the word support to something less?
Supportive?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's not that, I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. It's not, I mean, I totally
Right.
agree. Like, I had this happen in my backyard too.
Right.
It
We
just-
could
it's
also
ju-
ask for legal counsel.
Yeah, I mean, I do think we should consult a lawyer before we put a letter out from the commission.
Well, how about we give this to the selectmen and ask them to ask our town council what they think, if there's any downside to it, legal downside to it.
I think we should do that.
Okay.
Do we want to let Dave Westerling speak? It looks like he has his hand raised.
No. Yes. Dave?
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so it was on that previous motion or discussion about the town meeting on Monday. Is there going to be, and I'm just a visitor and just a, observer here. Is there going to be some sort of information on the parcels? Is there going to be a handout so that I will know what this is all about? Because right now I don't have a really good clue. I've read the article, the warrant, but I haven't done my research or anything like that.
We can definitely print a map. That's actually a very good
I hope
observation.
this isn't going to be a Zoom meeting. Will it be a Zoom meeting or will we
No.
go in?
It's
Well,
in
we'll bring
person,
it- let's-
actually inside in the gym.
We'll put up, we've got a couple of large 3x3 maps, and we could circle that and show what a key parcel it is to the existing Northborough Berlin Greenway system, It's the most important parcel, I think, that I've worked on since I've been on the commission.
So it would be possible to have those, let's say, out in the foyer on the way in for
Right.
observing, and then, but it's also nice when you're discussing it to have something in front of you to clarify that you can refer to. At least I think for a lot of people, they won't vote for it unless they know what they're voting for. So that would, I think, be important.
Okay,
Good
yeah.
point, Dave.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Uh,
good meeting.
So, thank you.
Bye.
Walter, if you can bring those large maps, I will bring
Mhm.
a printout of the parcels. I gotta,
Yep.
I have no idea how many people to expect, but I'll talk to Margaret.
And also, since we got away, jump to that from the letter, the Duggan letter, I'll bring that to Margaret or Mary, whatever, to present to the selectmen. I will
Yeah.
not, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think
just,
I'll-
I mean, I think even if you email Margaret, especially because I know other boards are, Skip is asking other boards to send
Yeah,
letters of support as well. Even just
Yeah,
an email to Margaret saying,
Okay.
what are the
Okay.
parameters that we should be concerned about here?
Yep.
And does it need to go to town council? Because
Yep.
I'd rather not pay $300 to find out. But
I know
if
it.
if we feel like if we need to, we need to, but
Yeah, but this seems like a town level thing. I mean, it's clearly in the deeds and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it seems to me that the town should be kind of handling it at that level.
Well, I mean,
Along with-
you're right, Robin, but I see a little bit of the Kassoff syndrome in this thing. We had a situation where a guy buys a place out and cuts the existing house out on a lot that there's no way the sewage system worked. They could never put in a legal one. So they had to get a grant. Then they sell off, build a lot. Then they come around and they sell off the other chunk to a new owner. And then the new owner comes in and wants to files an NOI to put a house on the other side of the wetlands, when in fact they could put it on the street side without crossing the wetlands. What happens, DEP comes along with, well, and I told him that story and said, well, this is a new owner. It's not the original one. And so she gave him the easement to go across. So this business of people coming in, you have an agreement with someone, then they sell it to somebody, and then they come in and, try to go on like, oh, they didn't know and it doesn't apply to them. Well, it does apply to them. I can remember granting the permission to build those houses, and it was a pretty heavy review of that thing. And the whole idea was just to keep it under control, because this guy he wanted to put in more houses. And we said, this is the way it's going to be. This is, we really minimized it. And now suddenly, well, that was 15 years later, someone comes in and wants to throw up a huge barn. So,
Well, so, I mean,
I look at that.
are they getting a building permit? It seems to me like if this is deeded, like why is
they've applied for one, but there seems to be a controversy about whether the town can enforce a covenant.
It's in the, if it's in the deed,
and that's
though,
that's why Skip's probably going to end up in court, because the courts can uphold a covenant, but there seems to not be any teeth for the town to be able to.
that seems ridiculous that if there's a deed restriction that.
It's not a restriction. It's only a covenant. It's not.
Well,
I thought it was in the
Well, I
deed,
shouldn't
though.
say it's only a covenant. I mean, the covenant was put in place by the developer.
But is it in the deed?
Yeah, it's part
Recorded
of the
and
deed.
it was recorded
And the kind of conversation that happened among department heads, my input was, if the town is not willing to enforce this covenant, what's the point of groups like conservation, like ZBA, like Board of Health, like anybody, of asking for a protective covenant if it's unenforceable?
Yeah, but I mean, and if it's in the deed, though, I would think that it would be a deed restriction that the zoning board could
but see,
enforce.
Robin, that's the issue. We don't know the answer. I can't answer your question. Skip can't
Right.
answer
Yeah.
the question. This is going to a lawyer. All we're asking is we support the notion, and the courts are going to decide whether that notion is how strong it is in law. So, right, I ran through the whole thought process you're talking about, and it comes around with all we're doing is saying we support what this covenant was originally. And I don't remember the details originally, but I can remember we were trying to tighten every screw we could on that development, and these covenants were part of it before it got its approval. And now somebody comes in, buys one of it, and wants to throw up this 2,200 square foot building. I guess I'm coming around ready to make a motion on this, Madam Chairman. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. But I would move that we go ahead with this and put our name, put this on our letterhead, and I'll sign it on behalf of the Conservation Commission, to whom it may concern, and let it go to the lawyer. We'll send a copy to the Selectmen, Board of Appeals, whatever.
So we are still going to ask for legal counsel then for the town?
Say that.
Well, so like this motion that you're putting forward, you're still saying you're going to put it to the town to go for legal
approval.
counsel, right? Yeah.
So we could add that to the motion, contingent on approval from the town.
Town administrator.
Mhm.
All right, put it that way. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
There
I
a
mean,
second?
frankly, I'd be willing to go right ahead with it without that, but, because I don't see
Okay.
a downside to it, but if you want to do it, we'll do it that way. We'll make sure Margaret gets it.
Right, well, we did talk
Okay.
about presenting it to the select board, so no, why not put it into the,
Yeah,
Into
okay,
the
right,
motion.
okay, I'll second the motion.
right.
Holly foiled again.
No, I know, I said it, but that's fine, whatever.
Oh, okay. We'll let
I
you
think-
make the motion to adjourn.
Well, let's vote first. Holly,
I,
AJ,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Louise,
Aye.
Walter,
I,
Carolyn, I.
okay.
All right.
I'll-
Yeah, run it by Margaret, make sure we're not getting anybody in trouble.
Yep.
And then we'll send it out.
Okay. I don't think there's a great rush in this anyway, so I'll get it up to her and we'll wait until the next. I'll even, yeah, I'll keep you all posted on every step of the process anyway.
Thank
Copy
you.
and everything. By the way, when I send something to Conscom, do you, just the chair get that or does everybody get it?
Just me.
Because it had others' names on it in my address book. It has under Conscom. It has all of the names, but you just get. So do you forward it to the others then?
Most of the time, yeah.
Mhm.
But like today, I sent. What
It
did
came
I
right,
send?
it came right from you, Walter.
Say that.
The copy I got came right from you. It wasn't.
Oh, all
forwarded.
right. So maybe
Okay.
it does. Okay.
Walter, you probably have, okay, so you've got the Conservation Commission official email, but you
Yeah.
might have a distribution list with all our names on it.
Okay.
Right, that's
And this
called,
is the-
that's
right.
named conservation.
Right,
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I think you're right, Louise.
yeah, because that's what I have. And I mix them up sometimes.
Right, so I wonder if that's what happens sometimes.
Hmm.
Yep. All right, does anybody have anything else? All right, hearing nothing, I'm gonna ask Holly to make a motion to adjourn.
You got to be quicker with that unmute button.
whoops, yeah, I know, I'm
Hear
liking it. You can hear me now?
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
To adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye.
I always forget.
Right,
I
yeah,
hate
you have
the
to do a
roll-
roll
yeah.
call.
Yeah, I know. Walter,
I.
Louise,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
AJ,
Aye.
Holly,
Aye.
Carolyn, I. All right, motion meeting adjourned at 8:38.
Have a good night, everyone.